What's that whole Mr. DeVille? I'm ready for. There's a thing sidetrack. All right, so we're in the vehicle. We have, and to be clear, your photo stories are typically in your iPad, right? They're in albums. You're going to use the same 10, 15 photo stories over and over and over, right? You're just going to create them once. And so we've got the inspection report. We've got the photo story. We've got our proposal. One of the things that hopefully you guys have heard today in my language. There's 3 words I never use when it comes to putting together things. You'll never hear me use the word estimate. You'll never hear me use the word bid, and you'll never hear me use the word quote. Right? Those are all money words, right? I don't want customer ever thinking about money when it comes to this thing. So don't say, I'll work you up an estimate. Think about it. What does the word estimate even mean, right? I mean, it's like this. I'll give you a roundabout kind of proposal. It's everything that I use is proposal, recommendation, or solution, right? So if there are any recommendations, I'll put those together for you. Let me run out and put together some numbers. I'll put a proposal together for you, right? Just try to avoid estimate, quote, and bid. Money words. So we've got all this worked up, right? Remember, the customer paid for the inspection report. And I'm going to kind of skip past that for a second and come back to that. Okay. So I apologize. This is an older slide. I have an updated slide. This must be an older presentation. But the idea here, I love what you said earlier, is I tend to take all my pictures with my phone, and I airdrop them all to my iPad. Always present on your iPad. That's another little tiny pet peeve of mine is, people that try to present and show things on their phone. Again, typically, I don't do this with every photo, but on roughly, I would say on average 3 to 4 photos per job, I use this software called Annotable. It's ANNOTABLE, right? Costs you $10 for a lifetime license. I'm sure Doug will be happy to expense that for you.
Ask Francis.
Ask Francis. Smart man. So again, the idea with Annotable is we're just marking up some photos, right? If I've got something like this, where clearly I've got a crazy missing mortar joint or whatever the case is, this gives you all those capabilities to really, really kind of get into that, right? And show them look at all that moss growing in there, right? And then I'll probably draw a couple pictures and just put vegetative growth, signs of water intrusion, something like that on here, right? So mark up for, again, what are you doing that your competition's not, right? How are you taking this to the next level? So airdrop all your photos. Shouldn't have to worry about too much about shortcuts now because of ServiceTitan, but if you have anything that you find you are typing over and over and over, like every single appointment, if there's something that you're performing a sweep and level 1 inspection of a masonry fireplace, if you're like all that kind of stuff, use your shortcuts in your iPhone, right? Save everything in the, I think they call them text replacement. Put everything in there. Do you guys know how to do that? Familiar with that? So just save yourself as much, especially if you're struggling to get time. It shouldn't take you longer than
That's the easiest thing to do.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's not that, it's the estimate that makes it long.
Got it.
Excuse me, the proposal.
That's all right. Good catch, though. So that is something that we need to definitely work on, is because the proposals honestly should take about 5 minutes. If everything's in the system, we should be able to click on masonry, lining, heat shield, 20 foot, with parge, boom, proposal done. I mean, it really should be that simple, right? So it takes time. Again, it does take time to set up and get all that in there, but once it's in there, it should be very, very simple. So we kind of worked through all of this stuff. Again, I have a ton. Again, if you need any of this stuff, I use a ton of diagrams, these kind of things. Like if I'm doing heat shield, let me pull that other.
Do you have a folder with these diagrams?
I do,
that
and
you
I will
share
send.
with us?
I will.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yeah, that's that chimney visuals folder that I keep going to. Like I'll share that with all my clients.
Thank you.
Get back to.
So we're your client now, so like.
Well,
I feel
yeah, more of a one
first-
night
a
fling.
first date.
Yeah, more of a one night fling than anything.
Lifetime implications.
So, that.
I mean, I do subscribe to your OnlyFans page. I mean, sure.
No! You know that's not public. Like, that's expensive.
It's Surefire.
Yeah, Surefire. And you do the weekly videos. That's,
Oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm trying to figure out how to use this. Damn. Oh, there we go. So these are the things that are in that, but
Okay.
just little things to help people. That's the videos. You'll
Yeah.
get those.
Those are great.
Factory built explanations. You can put your own pictures of caps, but this is actually a pretty cool video on. Do you guys sell many vent tubes?
I've only seen it installed once since I've been here.
You're missing money. I sell vent tubes on every painted chimney, on any huge chimney. This is just how you install them, but especially on a painted chimney, we tell all these people, hey, you trapped all the moisture in, I can't breathe, it's going through the processes of deterioration, so we need any of that moisture that's inside the system to be able to escape. So at this point, since it's already painted, we really can't undo that. So we want to put some ventilation tubes in there to make sure that the water that is trapped in there doesn't eat the chimney from the inside out, and we can extend the life of that chimney for you. These cost you about $120 to $140 for a pack of 12. I usually charge $100 a tube. Minimum. It takes, you saw that, 30 seconds to install. It takes, I'll typically on the average chimney do 6 to 8. So an easy way just to add value. So I, kind of crap. That's a crappy picture, but if I have, heat shield, I always show kind of the, how it gets pulled up, how it covers the cracks and the gaps. Vent tube pictures. There's a diagram of vent tubes, how they get laid in, how they work. This is why is that video not playing? I need to find it. So this is actually a video of half of concrete crown being water treated, half of it not, and then you just see the water beat up on one side where it absorbs in on the other side. Proper chase cover construction, showing cross breaks, strip edges, those kind of things, just showing staining and rusting, and then what it looks like after. This is right here is before and after of the Chimney Saver masonry cleaner. So I'm a big fan of selling the masonry cleaner on all these kind of chimneys. So if you prefer to pressure wash, that's fine, but I like the masonry cleaner a lot better. The different cap versions, right? If you have a lock top damper, kind of what it looks like, open, closed. I love this picture for when people are like, if they don't have a cap, I was like, well, you got a big 13-inch hole in your roof. Every time it rains, the water's coming in. They're like, well, why don't I see it coming in my fireplace? So I'll show them this picture and show them how there's that whole smoke shelf, and the water doesn't actually go into the fireplace, but it's all sitting right here, and it's just deteriorating all of this. Kind of just an example of a before and after of a crown coat. What chimney fires, vertical cracks can look like, how products of combustion can escape. Flash seal, basically what it looks like. Process photos, joint repairs on heat shield, before and after heat shields. PCR, before and afters. This is my go-to picture for Chimney 101. Spray and water repellent, what the chimney looks like whenever a water repellent is applied, where it beads up, basically Rain-X for the chimney. So this is all this stuff will get shared with you. So back to here again. Just kind of have diagrams. That way, people are very visual. You got to remember, you do this every day. They do this once in a lifetime. They don't understand unless you're using pictures, right? So this is something CSI has me do. Everything that I'm teaching you today is purely from a sales perspective, right? At no point am I giving you any liability advice, report writing advice, what you should do, what you don't. There's a whole class for that. Like if you are the last to touch the chimney, you're liable for a chimney. So making sure that you have proper documentation, that you have all your liabilities covered, that's a totally different deal, right? So I'm skipping through some of this. I've already covered all of this. Okay. So again, you put together the photo story, you go through all of this, and then, all right, don't use estimate, quote, and bid, can't be a shopping list. Be sure you add your financing number. This job qualifies for onto your proposal, right? And then again, our assumption here is Kevin called us with a problem. We're solving the problem. He's going to do the problem unless we don't. So I'm going to skip back to an hour ago. Kevin asked me a question. You know, what happens if the customer's like, you know, what are we talking about here roughly? You know, is this 10,000, 15,000, whatever the case is? I'll be honest with you, Kevin, I can tell you that exact number in about 30 minutes. I honestly, I have a computer system that I plug all these measurements into. It spits out the numbers, so I would hate to tell you something wrong, but if you can literally give me 30 minutes, I'll give you an exact number. That's the way that I'll address that every time. Now, I would be lying to you if I haven't ever ballparked. There are times, especially if it's insurance, where I will let people know, because they're like, well, I mean, you know, insurance, I don't know. I mean, my deductible's $1,000, so, you know, I don't want my rates to go up. So, I guess it's really going to depend on me. Are we thinking this is a couple grand? So, like, honestly, this is going to probably be a 5-figure plus job. Oh, okay, then we probably want to look at insurance, right? Just I've done things like that. But ideally, you don't want to give the number before you built the value, otherwise they have that price reaction, okay? So I'm gonna kind of just close this for a second, or go back to this is what I'm meaning to say. So we've got all this prepared and we're getting ready to go in and have our conversation with Kevin, right? So this is stuff that you're really not doing right now, and guys, I'm telling you, this is where all the gold is, right? So up to this point, we've probably spent 10 minutes doing discovery, 5-10 minutes preparing, 10 minutes sweeping, 15 minutes scanning, 10 minutes on the roof. So, 20-30 minutes putting together the proposal, the photos. The photo storage already put together, and the proposal. So we're about an hour and a half probably into this. And then my average presentation takes about 15-20 minutes. So that includes objection handling, because like you said earlier, you've already done 90% of the inspection report. So I've already done the heavy lifting. He already knows the problems. He already knows this. This is more of a high level review, but the main point of what I'm doing whenever I am going in is getting that number that Kevin thinks is around 6 to 8, trying to get that as high as possible before I get the number. That's the whole purpose of going in and doing the proposal, right? So we go in. All right, Kev. Sorry, man. That took a minute. Calculator broke 3 times. These numbers kept getting so big. Good night. Well, it's fine. I'll do stupid shit like that. Like, stop, man. That's not funny. Like, nobody stop. Seriously, don't do that too. So no, seriously, man. I got a lot of photos. I got a lot of stuff to go over with you. Where's a good place we can sit down and we go over all this with you? We go to the table. We sit down. Were you able to call Cassandra? Was she able to join us on speaker or?
Yeah, I think I can get her on the phone.
Okay, cool. Well, let's grab her and if the lady's not able to get on the phone, right? Awesome. Yeah, come in. And I'll usually have them, like, if you get on the phone, maybe do like a FaceTime. That way they can see the pictures and things like that. If you can't get them on the phone, again, you got to decide if you want them doing this. Is that, well, look, if you want to record this, you're more than welcome to record it, or I can record it on my screen and send it to you so your wife can watch it later, or whatever you want. Because this may be a bit overwhelming, right? And so we sit down and we just like, all right, well, any questions before I get started? You were thinking about anything that we were talking about? No? All right, cool. Well, man, I'm just going to dive right into it. So the main thing I want to let you know is everything that I'm about ready to go over with you, you're going to get in your email. So you're welcome to take notes, but just know I'm going to email all this to you. Before I get too far, do you mind just to verify this is the right email address? Yep, looks good. Okay, perfect. So that's cool. What's Robco? Oh, I may go into like some kind of deal. Oh, you live in Robertson County. That makes sense. Got it. So we'll go through all that. It's like perfect. So this is the inspection report that I put together. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to kind of fly through this because this is about 17 pages of pictures and diagrams. I've already went over most of this live with you during the scan and when I got off the roof. But I do want you to have this for your records. But I do want to hit some of the highlights really quick, right? And so then I will go through really quick and say, all right, so we checked roughly 70 things today. There was 6 or so that, and I haven't seen your report, so this is kind of hard for me. But normally, I like my report to have a summary page of a chimney that has you know, literally a chimney, and then beside it has all the things on the chimney, and then there is a, let me show you an example.
I love that, but I don't think, we had that when we used Service Pal,
Yep,
but I don't believe we can put that diagram in the Service Titan.
you can.
You can?
Yeah.
No, I need to figure out how
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
you can. I have people that do it.
Okay.
Like the green, yellow, red kind of deal. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, or just a diagram of a picture in the reports.
Yes.
Not.
So, let me, let's see. Billy Sweet won't care if I show something. So I don't want you using this report, but I'm just gonna give you, oh, of course, that's one without a diagram. Hang on. Let's see. So something like this, right? So this is I like to, you know, I still could have a much more detailed page later, but I like to be able to go through and say, you know, hey, it met the height requirement, it had the spark arrestor in
Okay.
it, you know, this kind of thing.
Is that the PDF? We can put it. We can do a
Yeah.
PDF.
Yeah.
We can't add it to the. Okay, I see. What
You
you're
should, but I haven't seen your form, so we can talk about what it looks like.
yeah, there's two. You can do a fillable PDF, or
Yep.
you can do the report that builds as you go.
Got it.
I don't think the two can be married. I think put on Service Pal.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
So, but
Yeah, we can definitely do a fillable PDF.
yeah, I mean, I like this just because it gives you a quick summary of, you know, like 80% of the stuff was great, but we had these two things that we're going to be addressing, right?
Right.
And kind of give them however you need that to happen, even
Okay.
if it's just the words, you know, and then like a checkbox or something. I think there's
definitely do that, yeah.
there's definitely a way to make that happen. So.
Okay.
But basically, I just tell them high level, Kevin. These are the, you know, this is everything that I looked at. I do want to hit a couple of highlights, and then I'll go through again the good, the bad, the ugly, right? I've talked about a lot of the problems. I'm going to get to that, but I want you to know that, you know, chimney's tall enough, meets all the height code, meets the everything. Go through all the good, right? So everything that's good, I'm talking about it, and then anything that's bad, this is where I bring in the photo story, right? So. Like Kevin, we saw the inside of the fireplace, the smoke chamber, had all that parging, had all that, or corbelling. This is about the time my brain starts to go after 7 hours of doing this. Had all the, you know, the issues inside the smoke chamber. You had the holes in the flue. Now, the cool thing is, with the gas insert that you're looking at, I don't have to fix any of that. Okay, so that's going to save you quite a bit of money on the inside of the system, because the unit that you have has two little pipes, what we call chimney liner. They're 2-3 inches that go on top of the fireplace, and they run all the way through the middle of the fireplace and come out the top. Okay, so they're basically, one brings in fresh air, one takes all of the byproducts, the carbon monoxide out. And literally, I can run that right through the middle of your smoke chamber, right through the middle of your flue, and essentially bypass all those defective parts. So even though we're going to pay a little bit more for the unit, you're going to save all the money on not fixing it, which is why I said it usually costs about the same. So so that's kind of how we're going to do that. And I would literally show like a photo story of installing a gas insert. Right? If I had to do a PCR first, I would show pictures of the PCR. It's the nastiest stuff on the planet, man. Like it's a very high-powered chemical that basically we show how it gets applicated, very similar to heat shield, and it just eats away at the creosote. And we have to board up the fireplace. Takes a couple of days. Then you come back, and when you sweep it, all that glaze goes away. You want to always remove that anytime you're putting any type of heat through the system. So we would show that. We would show that, you know, here's the guys setting the box. Here's the guys dropping the liners or pulling the liners. Here's well, we wouldn't have to insulate if it was gas, but here's the top plate. Here's the caps. Here's all the kind of thing, and literally step by step showing him how this is done. Then we get on to the exterior, right? So here's basically go back to remember those crown before and after pictures? Here's kind of what your crown looks like. Here's what it's going to look like when we're done. And here's how we do that. Like if you took some pictures today of the crown that you did, right? You know, like 4 or 5 pictures of, you know, here's spreading the mud, here's setting the forms, here's putting in the reinforcement. Y'all do crowns or washes? Washes. So never mind about the forms and all that. Then. But the whole point is exactly like what you're seeing up here, step by step of everything that's going on, right? If we got the tuck pointing, I'm showing those pictures, the grinder, the respirator, all that kind of stuff. If we're talking about the flashing, I've got like a whole album. Unfortunately, I don't have this on. I need to put this on my iPad. On my computer.
Doug, could we put these into like a form in service type? That way when we're pulling up the inspection report, we don't have to be jumping back and forth from service
I
type
don't
to
know,
photos.
I don't know if service type would be the best place to house that.
Okay, maybe
It-
we may.
It might just be in your photo album or in a folder or somewhere.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. Or it might just be in a PDF.
What I've done in the past is I've actually opened up the estimate and of course the pricing's right there. So you'll have all the pictures of the job and how it works.
It might be
Also
an
the
iBook.
pricing attached to it.
Yeah, iBook might be the place to house that in a
Yeah.
folder.
Usually what I recommend for people, do you have like a Google Drive, a Dropbox, anything, a shared
Google Drive.
Google Drive? I recommend having a Google Drive, have it
There you
set
go.
to download. That way you have it in one place, everybody automatically syncs to it, we're all using the same thing. If you have new ideas, you can upload them, or right, and so that
Okay.
way you don't have 10 different people using 10 different
Gotcha.
things. And if it ever gets deleted, you've got a backup and all that kind of stuff. So that's usually my recommendation of that.
Sure.
So I'm going to show you guys like an example of, let's see, this is totally out of order, I think, but. So for Kevin, like you know, I don't know how much you know about flashing or whatever, but I'll be able to explain to customers, this right here is your chimney, right? This right here is your roof. You have two different types of flashing. You have basically what's called a counter flashing that gets cut into the mortar joint of your chimney and basically comes out and then goes over kind of your roof flashing here. So your roof flashing goes from your shingle, kind of comes up here. And the whole idea is if you have your chimneys is a big hole in the roof, right? So
Right.
when water comes down, you want the water to shed down that metal onto the roof and off the, versus coming down that hole in your roof. So, so that's, once I explain kind of flashing, then I'll go through and say now, your particular one needed a Cricut. So you guys may not do this as extensive as some of my other customers, but basically, one of the first things that we're going to do is we're going to, that's a really small picture for some reason. We're basically going to pull back all the shingles, within, a foot or so of your chimney, and just really check all the decking board underneath there, because a lot of times when the flashing goes bad, the decking board underneath it goes bad and it gets dry rotted and all that stuff. So, I don't want to put lipstick on a pig kind of deal. So if I need to replace any of the decking board, we'll be able to address that. And then after I do that, then I'm going to basically come in. I know this is a terrible way to present, but that's what I have right now. Basically I'm going to lay all new decking board, all new, basically Cricut. Everything is going to be nice and new. If you have anything that's dry rotted, and then again, you guys may not do this, but it's something to consider if you want to. The next thing that we do is we put an ice and water shield over all of that. So, because basically you just have plywood under there. So this is a real susceptible point for water. So we basically put ice and water shields so that if water does get in, at least it can shed off and it protects the roof. And then this is the way that I can put a lifetime warranty on my flashing as well. And then once I do that, then I'm going to go through the type of flashing you had before was like a step flashing, but let's see. Here is basically that membrane that we were putting on, that ice and water shield, and then I'll show like the last photo will show once the flashing and the shingle's done. This is kind of what would look like, and there's a perfect example of what a Cricut is supposed to look like, where it kind of sheds the water around. Now, most people, I only have like 2 or 3 clients that go through this level of flashing repair, but when they do it, they're known as the flashing experts, and like this particular job was a $4,200 job just for the flashing, just to put it into perspective. Whereas you could probably just replace the flashing for like $1,500 if you wanted to do that. But they go through and they put, this particular company offers lifetime. They only do lifetime work, and that includes all that decking, and that's how they sell it. But the idea, I don't want you to get caught. Huh?
Ours is half.
We're doing the same thing.
Okay, perfect.
We do the exact same thing. We need to raise our price.
Yeah.
$2,000.
How much?
About
We're
$2,000.
$2,200 for replacement.
Giving it away. Yeah. Giving it away. If you're truly opening this up, doing
Oh,
deck,
yeah.
ice and water and shingles and
We do all that.
yeah, I mean, I'd be at $3,000 minimum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's really, really crazy, and this is where that whole, if it feels expensive to you, it's going to feel expensive to your customer, right? Like you had a reaction. Like,
Well, it
oh,
does, because I know that roofers can do it a lot cheaper than
yeah,
we can.
and that's why we get called, because the roofers suck at doing chimney flashing.
You're right.
But, right?
You're right.
Yeah, and they'll say, "Oh my God, I'm a roofer. I'll have to do that half." Yeah, I mean, I should. That's usually why we get called in, because when we do it, we put a lifetime warranty on it. And roofers are roofers; they're not chimney guys, right? So by the time we get called for flashing, they've pulled their hair out and they're like, "Just please, just fix the damn leak. My ceiling is this, my wall is this, right? Like, please, I don't care about the money, just fix it, right?" So. But here's what's really, really fascinating, and I kind of wish, I'm excited for Kevin, he's going to get to see this, where I go to so many different markets. It is absolutely amazing the difference in prices that I see based on where I'm at, right? And so I'll give you a couple of examples. Like I have a market, and this is what this market demands, and is what they do, that you could do a crown seal, a flash seal, and a water repellent for under $1,000, right? That should sound insane to you. That should be $3,000, or that should be whatever the case is, right? On the same side, I've got clients that their chimney liners, like true, like 13-inch, dump, like the whole thing. Their chimney liners start at $18,000, go up from there. That should feel extremely high to you, right? There's this fascinating thing that when you're comfortable selling something at a certain price point, if that price point goes similar to the beer, right? If that price point goes up or down, it feels expensive or it feels cheap. It's just because it's your comfort level, right? Mm-hmm. And so I tell these guys that, man, I've got markets where they're doing liners for $10,000. They're like, what the hell? Why are they giving it away? You know, it's like right there, when I said, hey, I've got people that are doing flashing for $2,000. They're like, why are they giving it away? It's that same kind of thing, but it's your comfort zone. Now, like flashing's a profit center, right? I mean, there's $150 in material time you do a little bit of metal, some wood, and yeah. So, are you making money at $2,000? Absolutely, you're making damn good money. But could you be making more? Sure. Track it. Don't start at $3,000. Start at $2,200. Just kind of work your way up, test the market, see how it's going. Like if you raise the price $500 and you're selling it for $2,000, you sell it for $2,500. Even if you only lose 1 out of every 5, you still break even and make more per job, right? So
less work, same money.
Exactly. Yeah. So
You get to the point where you're selling one for $6,000.
yeah, right. Yeah. That's the idea, though. Yeah, that's the idea. And I've got, the like the Michael Segerstroms or the Bill Ryans, the people that have the one-man shows. I mean, they're charging $6,000 a day in labor because they can, and they're not trying to, keep 20 trucks busy. But when they do work, they do it at a premium, right? So that's not where we're at, but people wait in line for that. So the photo stories are really, really important. So whenever we're going through the process, it is, here's what's wrong, here's what it looks like, here is what we're going to be doing. And I have like a whole nother picture in here for scaffolding setup, right? If we have to set up scaffolding, you were asking about that. And so if I got to doing the crown, for example, or in that, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to this is so far off the roof, I'm not going to be able to access it. So I'm going to have to set up some staging, some scaffolding, both on the ground and on the roof. And I'm going to have to tie it together. And here's some pictures of what that looks like. And as soon as you see those pictures and you see $7 at scaffolding, you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You're just like, it's gonna be brutal, right? Like that. Again, I just want that number to go up. Whether he buys from me or not, I just don't want him to say I'm too expensive, right? That's the whole goal of all this. So So literally we go through the entire inspection report like this. We go through, if it's good, I explain the good. If it's bad, I explain the big three, right? And I explain what it's gonna look like when we're done. And I go through a very detailed process of what we are going to do. If it's heat shield, this is the point where I am talking about, you know, the winches and pulling the diagrams and the mixing the mortar and all the stuff, right? And then when we get to the end, I go through the entire report. I say, okay, that's pretty much everything in the report that's going to be emailed to you. Besides the elephant in the room, how much is all this going to cost me? Do you have any questions about what we found, what we're recommending, or why we're recommending it? Right? And they're like, no, man, hit me with it, right? Perfect. Well, do me a quick favor. I go ahead and have them sign the inspection report right then, right? Basically, what I'm having you sign here is that when I've completed the work that you hired me to do, that I've performed the inspection, you understand the condition of your system, and that I'm recommending that you do not use the system in its current condition, right? Not the chimney police, but you've got my recommendation, right? I have them sign that. Oh, I see here, it's we have a $300 balance through today. I'll get to that in just a minute. Do you guys give any money back if they do work on the spot?
Give money back to whom?
To like, if it's a $300 inspection and it's a $10,000 job, you know, if this is something that we go and get on the schedule, I'm able to waive today's service fee for you.
We could do that. I have no problem with that. We give an upsell, we give a premium to the technicians to perform, say, a crown coat, or they upsell a fireplace, or
Sure.
they upsell a dryer vent cleaning.
Sure.
On the spot, we give them premium commission
Yeah.
on that. If they sign while we're there, I would not have an issue. I don't think Francis would either.
Yeah. I'll talk to her. I don't.
That's as long as they sign while we're there.
I don't do it on every job. I like to have it as a closing technique if I need it. If the person is close, if they're like, oh man, you know, well, you know, in the grand scheme of things, 10 grand may not change anything, but you know, I do have the ability while I'm here before. Basically, the way our software works is when I'm on site, I have control. Once I leave on site and close it out, I don't have access to your job anymore. But while I'm here, I do have the ability to take care of today's service fee of $300 if this is something that we schedule. Once I leave, it becomes an office function, and that kind of leaves my control. I don't want to put any kind of pressure on you, but you know, that if $300 is $300, right? So I only use that if I feel like they're very, very close, right? It's more of a closing technique. So I have them sign, and then here's the beautiful thing, guys, is the proposal is so easy once you have done all of this. Oh, I shouldn't say easy, it's quick. So let me get back to the PowerPoint here.
But it's intentional you having them sign that inspection report at that time.
100%.
Because psychologically in their mind, they're in the signing mode, they're
That's
in
right.
the yes mode.
That's exactly right.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's they're signing, they're committing in writing, I understand, I'm not using the system, you know, all those kind of things. It is very, very subliminal, versus wait until the end and do all that, because this is where the rubber meets the road, right? This is where everything comes together, right? So at this point, I pull the Band-Aid, man. I rip it hard. Like Kevin, I went over, talked to you for 10 minutes about all this stuff and all we're going to do, and I know the one thing that you really want to know is, you know, what's the damage going to be, and like let me pull this out. If we do absolutely everything that I'm recommending, top, bottom, up, down, fixing it, preventing it, we're talking right at 13 grand, brother. It's a number, right? And so let me kind of walk you through how I got to that number, right? So this first section right here, this is my staging, right? This is going to be whatever my guys need to do this job safe. That could be scaffolding, that could be a lift, that could be a series of ladders. But whatever we do, I gotta have my guys in harnesses. They're gonna be meeting OSHA requirements. So unfortunately, there's really nothing I can do about that number. That's that $1,200 number there, right? And then we're gonna get into the part where the fun part, right? We're actually gonna use the system. This particular stove that I showed you that you wanted to have. Now this includes the lining kit. This includes the top plate, the cap, the stove, all of the labor, all of that is in here, and that's that bigger number. That's 8,200 right there. And then as we get into the exterior, this is where we get into all those cracks at the top of the chimney. This is where we're basically replacing that concrete and stopping the water from getting in, and that does have a 10-year warranty on it from water getting in there. And then literally I'm just going through line by line of what you're getting. And then here's the most important part. Literally the part everybody forgets every single time. Now, Kevin, when I arrived here, you know, the main goal was to use the fireplace. You wanted to make sure it was okay. We obviously saw that it wasn't okay to use, and so basically this is going to be able to get you to where you can not only use the system, but you're not going to have to be able to worry about it prematurely deteriorating. Plus, you're going to get all those side benefits of getting all the extra heat that you said that would be nice, and ease of use, the remote control, all those things that you had mentioned that was really important. Now, again, this number is right at 13 grand, so I get it. Most people don't have 13 grand just sitting in an account waiting for a chimney. So we basically have 3 ways that we can get this job done for you, depending on what Cassandra has to say. You know, I understand that. So first and foremost, our normal is we just take half down. So in this particular case would be roughly $6,500. Check, cash card, anything but Bitcoin, we are good with right now. And basically, I'll get you on the schedule. We're about 6 weeks out. I'll get everything ordered for you, barring no back orders. We should have this installed for you in about 6 weeks. Once that job is done and we've done everything that I agreed we would do, pay the balance, same methods of payment. If we're in a situation where 13 grand is not an option right now, our company has a couple payment options. My favorites are 12 months same as cash. Basically, we do a quick credit check for you. I'm going to give you the 13 grand. You got a year to pay it back, however you see fit. You want to pay $1,000 a month. You want to pay it all off in tax season, or all off whenever end of the year. Whatever you want to do is fine. Just don't go over 12 months, or they're going to backfill all that interest to you. If you need a little bit more time than that, we basically have an 84-month program for you. Basically, that works out to be about $78 for every 5 grand that we spend. This is roughly 13 grand. It's going to be somewhere around $180 a month, but there is no prepayment penalty if you want to pay that off. So between those 3 options, which one of these makes the most sense for you?
And then just don't say anything.
Yeah, shut your mouth, right? He who shuts up, because this is like, I swear to you, and you'll see this if I'm in the field with you, I've had 5-minute staring contests with people. Like, once I get through what makes the most sense to you, and I don't say a word. Because people process at different rates, right? And whatever Kevin says next, he can only do 2 things. He can only do, what are the 2 things that Kevin can do?
Pick an option or say none of them?
Well, he could say no, but we agree like 5% of the people say no, right? He's not going to say no. Like, what is he going to say? One of 2 things.
Say yes or give you an objection.
He's going to give it yes. He's going to either give me an objection or give me a buying question.
Or kick your iPad out of your hand.
Yeah, we're kicking my yeah, that's the 5%, right? 1%. But anything he says to me is either moving me closer, is going to move me closer to the sell, right? If it's a buying question, well, how much, work week, how many days is this going to be, right? How many guys is this on, gosh, is there not anything, do I have to do all this, right? All those, that top 15 list, right? And then I got my lambs ready. I'm like, man, you don't have to do any of this. Look, again, I'm not the chimney police here, man. You can burn a fire in your fireplace the moment I leave. I think we all talked about why that's not a good idea.
Right.
But at the you don't have to fix any of this exterior. But at the end of the day, the history of chimneys, no chimney's ever gotten better on its own. This will get worse, right?
No choosing that.
Yeah, it will get worse. It will be more expensive. So we can do a stopgap now, fix what we have, and then make sure we never have a bigger bill down the road. Or we roll the dice, I mean, at the end of the day, if I would not recommend you use the insert without doing the exterior. So if we're trying to pick and choose, I would start with the exterior because that gets worse, right? Absolutely gets worse. I get that's not the fun money. It's not where you want to put the money. You want to have a nice hot fire, but at the end of the day, this 3 grand on the outside turns into 10 grand real quick, right?
How much do people's closing rates change after they implement this?
Oh, you're gonna double, triple. Yeah, I mean, on average, my people that present on the spot on a sweep is 35%. On an estimate is 50%.
50% on this.
You go out, and an estimate is what I call a known problem.
Right.
They call you out for a leak. They call you out for water intrusion. They call you out. They had bricks missing. They need a cap. 50% minimum. Yeah. Yeah, it's disgusting when you start. Well, how do I stop sharing for a second?
Well, it is disgusting to realize how much I've lost.
Oh, it'll make you puke a little bit, brother. I want to see if I can. Devin, I may need your help. How do I stop mirroring up here?
You go down to the drop down beneath the Samsung, the bottom one, where it's blue.
Yep.
Right there. Drop down. Oh. Can you right click it? Now. Escape. Something.
Let's see.
You can do, yeah, right there. Well, how many mirrors you got going?
Screen mirrors,
Look, use this separate
display
display.
preferences.
Yeah, let me go to my iPad. Let me.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
There we go. All right. All right. So I'm gonna pull up. Just want to kind of show you.
Secret stuff on
Well, I mean, look, I spend a lot of time in hotels. There's certain things that you can't see. That is really, really cool. I don't think I've ever done mirroring to,
That is cool.
Sidecar.
huh?
Sidecar. You
Yeah.
can use your iPad as another screen.
Fantastic. All right. Let's see here. I'm gonna try. I just want to make sure there's no customer information in this before I show it. Okay, I think I can do this. So, this is old, but just to kind of make the point. Okay, so this is old school tracking, not all the fancy stuff that ServiceTitan offers you, but this is a tab that has company information and then different technicians in the company, right? And so this is 1 month. This is September of 2021, and so just to kind of give you like, and this is a very similar market to you guys, very, very similar. So this particular technician went out on 67 appointments, right? Of those 67 appointments, he gave 47 proposals, right? Of those 47 proposals he went to, he had 24 closes. So his close rate was 51%, and his opportunity rate, meaning how many proposals per appointment, was 70%. He proposed $355,000. He closed $172,000. He left $182,000 open. His average sale was $7,200. Average opportunity $3,600. Average appointment $2,500. So every single time he walked into a door, 67 doors, he created $2,500 for the company. Every time he gave a proposal, he created $3,600 for the company. Every time he made a sell, he made $7,200 on average, right? So I'm terrible with math on the fly, but if this was annualized, this is just one guy, 1 month. So this would be about $2.2 million sales guy, okay? Just if you were to extrapolate that over a year. So if we go to another guy, he went on 53 appointments. He gave 44 proposals, so his opportunity rate was 83%. He closed 23 of his 44. His close rate was 52. Here's his average sales. Here's his average opportunity. So if he were to do this times 12, he's a $1.7 million guy. And I can just keep going down and down, but you know, these are top performing guys I've worked with for a long time, and you know, on average they are about 1.7 to $2 million guys, depending on the month. So that's what's possible, right? That's legitimately what's possible. And if you start looking at their jobs, these are If it's got an amount awarded, that means they closed it. I mean, these are not small numbers, right? But these guys are making 3 or 4 follow-up calls to every single time. They're presenting on the spot. They're setting advances. They are sending video follow-ups. They are like, I haven't even got to this yet, but I use this software called BombBomb, and I'll show you that. Show you an example here. So BombBomb is basically just video email, right? So like we can do this like, we'll do like a little selfie thing here. Gonna give you a little countdown or whatever. It's like, hey y'all, American Chimney, Alan here. I enjoyed having class with you guys. Hope you're putting together all the things that we talked about, using them, and you're selling all kinds of stuff. But just thinking about you guys, hope you're well, and I'll see you soon. And then it literally pops up a little box. I can text it, email it, whatever. And you, like, again, people forget like names and all that stuff, but as soon as you watch this video, you immediately come back to remembering this class, remembering like the excitement, you know, the opportunity, all that type of stuff. So I use this with my customers, and what's cool when it comes through, it says play 13-second video. I've got 13 as a client. But what the hell is this guy saying to me? 13 seconds. He's going to open it, and then when he opens it, you get a notification that he watched it. He's engaged, right? This is, I mean, not the cheapest, like $100 a year or something like that, but golly, you know, little things like this. Close one extra deal that you wouldn't have closed. I mean, this pays for, you know, 10 years. So it's the little things like that, right? That these are people are doing that most people don't take the time and effort to do. That's how they become $2 million, $3 million guys. And you know, Valerio Anthony, he doesn't mind me telling. I've got 2 of his guys selling over $3 million now. 2 guys.
Wow.
2 guys selling $3 million. $6 million between 2 guys.
Wow.
3-4 appointments a day. Not like they're doing anything different, right? Crazy, right?
What market is he
He's in New York.
in? Okay.
Definitely a colder market. Definitely a lot more wood stoves
Yeah,
for
it's
heat.
almost, that's about that's 3 million, so that would be about 2 million.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
Way
that'd
more,
be- it's
way
more
more
expensive.
full rebuilds. Way more freestall. Way
Well, it's
more
a
furnace,
more expensive
water
market,
heater.
too.
Not really.
Really?
This price point's about the same.
Oh, it's not New York City.
No. Oh hell no. He's
Oh.
in Rochester.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
like
Okay, it's not the same market.
upstate New York,
Yeah.
yeah. So we wait for the buy-in question, we wait for the objection, we handle the objection, or we set the advance, right? If we can't we answer all the questions we can. Totally get it, Kevin, man. Talk to Cassandra, do me a favor, write this down, put my number in your phone, do all that stuff I talked about you before. I'm gonna call you tomorrow about this time. Again, I'm not calling you to sell you, to close you. I'm calling to go over what questions you and Cassandra had after you reviewed this, to see if this is a project that even makes sense, or if this is something that's gonna have to be kicked down the road a little bit, right? The last thing I want someone thinking is I'm calling to apply sales pressure, right? I'm not calling you to close the deal. I'm just calling to say, hey man, how'd that go? How many glasses of wine did that take for Cassandra to take that number? You know, and I know his wife, it took a lot. Like she can outdrink me big time. She's a champ. All right, questions about this? All right, we're gonna take one last break, and then we're gonna come back and do the final session. 4:02. Let's do 4:10. I'll definitely have you guys out of here before 5.